Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these gorgeous layered Easter cards. These designs were originally meant for shadow boxes, but I decided to turn them into cards instead. I just love how they turned out. I'll be cutting these out of cardstock on my Cricut machine. They make such a beautiful and thoughtful gift for a friend, your kids, parents, and so on. So let's jump right into the video. I'm starting off in Creative Fabrica. That's where I found the two SVGs for the shadow box cards. This is the first one. You can see it has 5 different layers. The other one is over here. This one has 7 layers. This is actually meant to be a shadow box, which would be a neat project to put this in a shadow box frame, but I want to make it into a card. Creative Fabrica has really cool files like this on top of tons of fonts, SVGs, sublimation images, things like that. So I always recommend it. And I do have a link down in my description box if you want to download these or check it out. They do have an option to sign up for free and you get some downloads with that. I can't remember how many, but you could always download these for free, but then cancel the membership. If you buy a yearly membership, it only comes out to $3.99 a month. So you'd pay $47 for the whole year. That's just so crazy because it's such a good deal. I'll have a link for the SVG files and the yearly membership info down in my description box. What you'll do is click download. Then it will go into your downloads folder as a zip file. You'll want to double click on that to unzip the file. Then you'll have all those in there. Over in Cricut Design Space, I'll select Upload. I've already uploaded all of these, but I'll show you what it looks like really fast. So here's an example of the Easter shadow box. The only bad thing is you have to upload each layer separately, so that's kind of a pain. You'll want to open up the SVG file. It looks weird with both of these. It just looks white, but you can see it says SVG, so that's the one that I want. And you just go in and add all of those in. I'll just add this one even though I already have it. So it pulls it in and you'll follow the same process for all the layers. I'll delete the one I just added. Then I'm going to upload these into Cricut Design Space. I'm going to start with the cross ones first, just to make sure those all stay together. These have different layers and you want them to be in the correct order. What's nice is over here in the layers panel, it tells you what layer it is. So we have 7, 6, and so on. I want these to be switched where it's in order though. So I'm just going to do that right now. You can see I'm just putting it all in order. If I go to select all and have everything selected, then if I hit center, you can see how it's all put together correctly. The only thing is I will be changing the colors of this, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm just going to upload the other one right now though. Same for this one. I am going to switch the layers around. Okay, those look great. I think I'll size these first. I want my cards to be 5 by 5 inches, so I'm going to highlight over this whole thing. As you can see in the layers panel, every layer is selected. I'm going to go up here and hit 5. It will automatically switch it to 5 by 5. I'll drag over these. You can see once again they're all selected, and I'll make that 5 inches as well. Now what I'm going to do is move these out of the way. These are both going to be the back of my card. What I'm going to do is make the last layer of both card 10 inches by 5 inches. I'm making the width 10 inches. And I'll do the same thing for this one. I'm also going to grab my scoring tool so that I can use my scoring wheel or stylus to easily fold the card. I'll go to shapes, it's under that, and it's the top left one here. I'm going to hit Command D on my keyboard to duplicate it so that I have two. I want to make this the same height as my card, so I'll go up here and I'll switch it to 5 inches. I'll do the same thing for this one. Then I want to make sure it's centered directly in the card. I'll drag over the score line and the card. Then I'll go up to Align Center. The last step is I have to attach this together. While I have the score line and the card selected, I'll come down and select Attach. That way when I go to the Make It screen, it will look just like that. I'll do the same thing for this one. I'll select both. I'll align and center, then attach. Now the next thing that I want to do is decide my colors, which honestly I feel like is kind of the hardest part of the whole project. I want to make sure I have these kind of lined up. So this is the first one, layer 2, 3, and 4. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll have layer 1, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I need to figure out how I want to do my colors. I want to do them pretty similar. I want to keep the first layers white because I like how that looks. Also, I want to do these green ones green because you can see part of it is like the leaves, I guess, of the flower. But the rest of them I might change up a little bit. I'm over on Michael's website, and this is the cardstock package I'll be using. It's called Bright Essentials. I used this cardstock to decorate my dream box, and it's really pretty colors. I'm of course going to use my little color dropper tool. If you've watched my channel a lot, you'll know I use this constantly. It's in the upper right corner. I'm going to select on it. In the upper left corner, you can see the little hex codes. I think the first one I want is this color pink, so I'll select that. I'm going to keep this pink, but I want to make it match with my cardstock I'm going to be using. This is obviously an extra step that you do not have to do. It just really helps me visualize it. I'm going to double click on the hex code that this pink is. I'll hit Command V and it will automatically switch it to that pink. For the purple, I think I'm going to make it yellow. I've already played around with this, so that's how I kind of know what colors I'm doing already. So I'm going to switch that to yellow. I just love how bright that looks with Easter colors. This one, I'm going to keep it green, but I just want to do one of the greens from here. I think I'm going to do this green, and I want to do purple for the last one. Okay, I think that looks great. Now with these colors, I want to incorporate the exact same cardstock to make it a lot easier. So I'll keep this white. For this one, I want to keep it purple, but I want to do the same purple cardstock as this. So I am going to switch that. For this green, I'm going to try the same green over here. I want to do yellow for this one. This one I'm going to do pink, but I want it to match with this pink. It makes it so much easier doing the same colors because you can cut it out on the same cardstock, but it also looks cohesive too. For layer 5, I think I'll do another green. I just don't want it that bright color green. I think I'm going to go with kind of a bluish color. I'll do this one. I just realized these are switched around. There we go. Lastly, I think for this one, I'm going to do a brighter blue. Now I'm going to see how this looks. I'll select all of that. I'll hit Align Center, then bring it up here. Wow, that looks so pretty. I love the colors. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this one. That looks so pretty too. I love the colors that I chose. So I think I'm ready to go over to the Make It screen. These are all 12 by 12 cardstocks that I'm using, so that looks good. That's how it put it together. I'll select medium cardstock for my cut setting. I have my 12 by 12 cardstock in this bin. The problem is I put those Bright Essentials pack in here with some other cardstock. I looked through the cardstock and picked out the colors I wanted. I believe all of these are from the Bright Essentials pack. I'm not 100% sure, but they looked right. In Design Space, it's showing me that it's going to cut the white cardstock first, so I add that to my mat. I always like to use the brayer tool to make sure I press the paper into the mat so it doesn't shift around at all while it's cutting, otherwise it'll ruin the cut. The Cricut will cut out the design. Once it's done, I will remove the paper from the mat. When working with paper products, the best thing you can do to remove it from the mat is bend the actual mat backwards. That way you don't bend the paper and it makes it easier to release it from the mat. This has very thin pieces, so I was making sure I was doing this very slowly so I didn't rip any of it. This will leave a lot of little pieces on your mat. Instead of taking them all off individually, just take a large squeegee or Cricut scraper and run it along the mat. It will take it off so fast. I like to clean my blade in between cuts because cardstock likes to get stuck on there or between every 2 or 3 cuts, so that's what I'm doing here. I just followed the Design Space screen and it said it was cutting out the yellow next. I'll follow the same process for the others until I get to the one with the scoring tool, and I'll show you how I do that. I can't believe Easter is only a little over 2 weeks away. I was so happy that it was late this year, but now I really need to get my kids' Easter baskets put together, figure out what they're wearing for Easter, and things like that. For this one, it's going to be using the scoring stylus. I'm using my Explorer Air 3, so I'll be using the stylus, but if you have a maker machine, you'll use the scoring wheel. So it's telling me to load this in clamp A. I load my scoring stylus in clamp A, then the Cricut will start scoring first. So what I was saying earlier about the paper getting ruined, that's what happened here. My mat just wasn't sticky enough though. I always panic I'm going to break my machine when this happens, but thankfully it was okay. Let's try this again. Instead, I'm using my purple strong grip mat. For the purple one, it's going to score also and then make another cut. I'm finally on my last one with the pink. I also decided I didn't like the dark blue, so I grabbed a different blue color for the back of the card. Here's all of my pieces cut out. I made a list of the layer and what color goes along with each layer to make it a lot easier for me. Before putting them together, I'm going to arrange them in the correct color. Also, I can tell this is going to be so pretty already. I also looked on my computer while I was doing this to make sure it was arranged the correct way. To give the card some dimension, I'm going to be using some foam tape. I don't know for sure if that's what it's called, but I'll do that between every layer except for the first and second layer. I like to start from the bottom layers and working my way up. I grab layer 6 and turn it around. I'm going to be adding the foam to the back of it. I take scissors and cut a small piece of the foam. Then on the card, I find places that have a big enough space to put the foam tape on. One side is sticky and the other side has a backing. I'm just peeling that away after I cut it, and it will expose the other sticky side. Now I just line it up on the right side of the card. I said picking the colors is the hardest, but making sure it's all centered is a little tricky too, but it's not too bad. Grab my next layer, turn it around, then add the foam. The only difference this time is I waited until all the little foam squares were on the cardstock. Then I went in and removed the backing. I found it easier just to do it all at the same time. I very lightly pressed this down. I noticed it was a little off, so you can pick it back up as long as you don't press it down too hard. Once you do, it's stuck there. If you're struggling to take the backing off, you can use a pen tool or a weeder. My nails are kind of long, so I was able to use my nails, but just in case you're struggling. The top piece has very thin pieces, so the foam tape is just too big. You'd be able to see it through it, so I am going to use glue for it. The Barely Art glue is by far my favorite glue. I use it for everything, and I'm not going back to anything else. I couldn't stand working with glue because I don't like when it gets those big globs, but this is nice and thin, and I think it even has a finer tip to it, but I lost it, so I need to buy another one. I'm not adding glue to this entire thing, it's just too much, but I'm trying to fill up a lot of the square. Also, I'm trying to work quickly because I don't want it to dry. Then I add it to the front of the card. I probably should have folded the card first, but that is what I'm doing here. Before I show a final look, I'm going to piece together my next card. As you can see, I am folding this first. I also like to use a squeegee or scraper to make sure it presses it down nicely. I'm using the same process for this. This card does have 7 layers, so it's going to be a little bit thicker. I would just keep that in mind if you're choosing one of these designs. My scissors were getting really gunked up from the tape, so it was getting difficult, but I'll show you a hack and a little bit of a better way to do it. I'm lining this up a little off camera so I can see a little bit better. Sadly, I wish I could see a video of me making this so I realized my mistake, but I'm putting the tape on the front of the layer, not the back. If you look at the corners, you can tell that it's not lined up right, but I didn't even notice it. It's kind of tricky with the different layers because it's not all pieced together yet, so I continued making the whole card. I do end up making another one off camera, and I will show you at the end. I did decide to do this differently. I'm going to glue layer 1 and 2 together before I add the foam to it. I found that a lot easier. I started filming my final picture, and then I realized something does not look right. The yellow was what I messed up, and I was trying to take the tape off, and as you can see, there was no way that was going to happen. It was also right in the middle. So, like I said, I remade it, but this is my hack for cutting the tape. Grab a rotary cutter. I have the Cricut one, which I really like, and a self-healing mat or some type of mat that is okay to cut into, and then use that to cut your pieces. I found it a lot easier. Here's what my scissors look like with all the adhesive. Here's the final Easter card. I'm just blown away by how beautiful this is. I love the color cardstock, and I think this would make such a thoughtful gift for someone. Now, here's a look at the cross card before and after I fixed it. The new one looks so much better. I just love how these shadow box cards turn out. They're so detailed and stunning. What do you guys think? Have you ever made these before? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.